She gets a little bossy. Okay. No, I said that's but not till senior year. You know, we didn't do that myself. Until like senior year when I was given a lot. That's what always gets me about it. It'll be fine. I gotta get my head in the game. Okay. I saw that. I saw that. Are we good? Let's see. Here we go. Ready? The board will now reconvene in open session, and the time is 6:05. We thank you for coming and taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight. At this time, we respectfully ask you to turn off the sound of your cell phones. May I remind anyone wishing to address the board that they must have completed a public comment card before the start of the public portion of tonight's meeting. As your Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals of the district and listen to reports presented by the superintendent and his designees. We approve and review the budget, approve certain personnel appointments and contracts, and make policy for the district. Management is the responsibility of the superintendent. It's the board's responsibility to govern the affairs of the district and ensure that the district is moving forward and meeting the vision and the goals that are set on an annual basis. Meeting times for the board's meetings are posted on the AISD website at AbileneISD.org, and the public is invited to attend. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Joe Waldron, Deputy Superintendent of our schools, to lead an invocation and pledges.
Thank you, Ms. President. Let's pray. God, we come before you tonight so very thankful. We're thankful tonight for bringing us together for one common purpose. Thankful for the rain that you've provided. God, we're thankful for this community that we're a part of, the students and teachers that support the very mission of our district. We're especially thankful tonight for this school board, their time of service, and their willingness to show up and do the hard work. As we go through our agenda tonight, God, we ask that you provide guidance, help us to listen well, speak intently, and make the decisions that are in the best interest of each and every one of our students. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Please stand and join me for the pledges. With a blank screen, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
We'll now move to item C, Board Superintendent Announcements. I think I have one thing I have to say first. Let the official minutes reflect that all board members have met or exceeded the required continuing education hours. Yay, board. Good job. Now, Dr. Kuhn, do you have any superintendent announcements?
I really don't. There are so many things going on this spring. I decided if I started a list, it would be kind of endless. So I would recommend board members please take a look at the digital calendar on the Abilene ISD website. There are just tons and tons of events going on right now. And so if you get a chance to go see our kids in action, they're in action all over the district, elementary, middle school, high school levels. And also congratulations for getting your continuing education hours.
And I do want to just point out one thing. This time last year, we were in the middle of the end, we were at the end of a superintendent search as a board, and we had come very close to calling Dr. Kuhn to be our superintendent, so he's marking the first year of serving as our superintendent. So I would like to say thank you and welcome to completing first year of being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
That being said, this time we are going to go on and listen to and watch our featured teaching minute with highlights of teaching and learning across our district. Enjoy.
My name is Jennifer Mansker, and I teach 8th grade RLA at Madison Middle School. Today we were using TEAC 8.6b, which is to write in order to show understanding of a concept or a topic. For me, reading is like the inhale and writing is the exhale. If I'm not having the students write about what they're reading, then I never know what connections they're making or what they're understanding, what they're comprehending. And so today we were working on an SCR versus an ECR in preparation for our STAR exam, which happens on Tuesday. And we were reviewing the different parts of the short constructed response and how we make sure that we're covering all parts of the answer. Okay, good. Did you hear what she said? You need to provide more evidence in an ECR. What's the difference between the question types? And we have taught our students to answer questions thoroughly using a strategy called RACE, where we're restating and we're answering, we're citing evidence, we're explaining how we got to that, and then a summary which wraps it all back up together. So when I'm explaining what I wrote, then I need to say, I know this because, or this shows that. We looked at an image where we had to infer what was happening in that image without text. I gave the students a blank copy of the RACE strategy, and each of them wrote a portion of the RACE strategy based on the image and the inferences that they were making while looking at that. And then finally, we took a short excerpt from a drama, and I had them read that in pairs, and then I created some cubes that had some talking points that they could use to answer the parts using the RACE strategy. And then I had them actually take the question, which was an inferring question, and they wrote based on the conversations that they had had with their partner. When we can work in groups, when we can work in shoulder partners, then we can draw from each other, and I feel like we get better responses that way.
Thank you so much for making that a possibility each month at our meetings, communications team. We'll now move on to item 4, recognitions. First up is Mr. Jim Garfield, Coach, Executive Director of Athletics. Welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing? Dr. Q, President Wiley, School Board. We're going to recognize a diver at Abilene High, Junior Lucas Lee. But first, I want to introduce Coach Van Camp. She's our dive coach, and then Coach she's our swim coach. I'm going to say just a couple of things, and I'll let them I'm going to turn over to them. Come here, man. You've done something that, I've been going on 39 years in education, right? I've seen a lot of great things happen, but you are the first individual to qualify for a state competition, state diving competition for this school district. Do you understand that? You are the first one. So I want to give this to you, all right? Congratulations, all right?
Thank you.
Who's going first? Okay.
So good evening. We're very excited to be here and recognize a historical moment for Lucas Lee and AISD's diving program, celebrating our first male diver to attend the state meet. I'd first like to thank Coach Garfield and Ms. Seibert for believing in our program, believing in us and our athletes, and for taking a chance to allow us to bring diving back to AISD in 2023. They had no hesitation in supporting us, and we appreciate their continued support they have to all our swimmers and our divers. In just 2 years, Coach Van Camp has learned the sport of dive, has taught our athletes the language of dive, and has taught them many complex hurdles and flips, and has gotten our first male diver to the highest level that they can possibly be. We're very proud and grateful to have her on our team and join us and help guide our athletes like Lucas. Lucas is an excellent student athlete who balances swimming, diving, and all his classes. Everything he does is 100%, including his workouts, his class assignments, his dives, and even helping people in the community monthly. He volunteers hours each month to help at the animal shelter and our middle school swim meets. He's always one of the first people to lend a hand, offer help, check in on someone, and he's ready to work hard. And we can't say enough how proud of him we are and how much we value his respectful character on our team.
Thank you all for inviting us. I just want to say that Lucas 2 years ago came from homeschool as a sophomore into Adams, but he's diving for Abilene High. His tryout was lacking a couple of things, but he made the team and he has excelled at everything. He has been such a great diver. His first year, last year, he went to district, placed 7th, which was one place out from getting to regionals. Then this year he placed 3rd at district, 3rd at regionals, and then 20th at state. So I am so immensely proud of him. He is also going to be the record setter for Abilene High diving with a score of 249.85. I want to thank all of you very much for him letting us do this and bring this program to the district, and then giving him the opportunity to show where he excels. So I'm super proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excited to have that here. Congratulations, Lucas. And coaches.
All right, everyone squeeze together just a little bit more. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Way to go, Lucas.
Next, we have our teacher incentive allotment. Ms. Kimberly Brumley, Director of Federal Programs, is coming to the podium to help us meet these people.
Good evening, President Wiley, Dr. Kuhn, trustees. It is my pleasure and honor to come one more time and celebrate the great work of some of our leading teachers from across the district. When we started this process in the spring of 2020, as we were all at home trying to put together a plan to launch this, who knew how much energy would form behind it? And today we're excited to celebrate the 92 teachers who earned designation this year, more than half of whom are first time or rising in their level of designation. So we have 47 names to celebrate tonight. I'm gonna do my best to call the ones who are present to keep things rolling along. You'll see in this first slide that we have 45 teachers who continued at the same designation, 40 who are first-time designees, and 7 who have driven through student performance and their own teaching excellence to a higher level of designation this year. Our first designees this year are coming in from Austin, Bassetti, Bowie, Madison, and Man as well. So this is their first year to offer designations. They collected data last year and was analyzed and approved this year. We are even more excited about that number at the bottom of the slide. The total award coming to the district this spring is over $1.2 million, 90% of which will go directly to the teachers we are recognizing. We don't have the exact number until a little later this month because the state doesn't release that information until the second half of April. So, but we wanted to make sure every teacher had the chance to come and be celebrated with you before vacation. So look at how well they follow directions. Over on the side, you're going to see the list, the teachers who have gathered because they are recognized designees. And so I'm going to work my way down the list. We have with us tonight Kelly Menken from Austin Elementary and also from Austin, her colleague Jennifer Woodard. If you'll come forward and stand behind me, the list is going to get long. Deborah Havner from Bassetti Elementary, Julia Burke and Darla Bartlett from Bowie Elementary. We have Kylie Zonker from Madison Middle School, Allison Gorbenko and Brooklyn O'Neill from Mann Middle School, Shelley Cruz from Ortiz Elementary, Bryn Weaver from Stafford Elementary, and Johnny Taylor from Thomas Elementary. These are all of our teachers who are starting off at recognized level as first-time designees. We're going to do pictures and shifts tonight because 47 is a lot to try to squeeze in and still see trustees in the backs. And ladies, if you'll stand like you're in choir, man, tight together, kind of angle and stack up on each other. We gave them good instructions for a front row and a back row.
All right, everybody.
Congratulations, ladies. Yeah. I know, a lot of talls and smalls.
Here we go. Ready? Looking at me. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Did you get what you need? You're welcome. Congratulations to all of you who are recognized this year. We have an even larger group of teachers who have earned exemplary designation. These teachers have at least 60% of their students meeting growth targets for the year and an even higher summative score in their T-test assessment for the year. Took 2 slides to do this. You'll notice on these slides that some of the names are marked with an asterisk. These are individuals whose standing has improved over the prior year. So those are your rising teachers. You'll see them in the exemplary and the master's level slides. Starting off from Bonham Elementary, we have Starla De La Garza and Wendy Glasgow. From Ortiz Elementary, Kimberly Abrams. And from Austin Elementary, Tiffany Hammer, Alana Harrell, Jennifer McLean, Dana Miller, Susan Pate, and Holly Samuels. From Bassetti Elementary, Shyla Henderson, Larissa Romish, Robin Warren. Joining them is Amanda Martin from Bonham Elementary, Kimberly Wright from Bowie, and Kristen Cruz from Bowie and the Center for Innovation. Julie Jackson from Madison Middle School. Blanca Perez from Ortiz Elementary, a bilingual teacher. I was really excited to see that. Laura Thomas from Stafford. Amberly Fry from Thomas. And did Ms. Beckwith make it tonight? I got a maybe. Okay, I got a maybe from her. These are your exemplary teachers for 2025. All right, best of luck. Talls in the back, smalls in the front.
Everyone stand on your tiptoes. Okay, ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
And all your adoring fans, they're going to take pictures too. Yes. I just want to thank the magician in the background behind the curtain who's advancing the slides for me. Fantastic. I haven't pushed the clicker once except after they'd already advanced the slide and they had to put it back, so thank you. We have our master teachers left to recognize, saving not necessarily best for last, but those who have accomplished quite a feat with more than 70% of their students meeting growth targets and exceptional scores on T-tests over the last year. So we have rising to the master's level, Taylor Moreno and Sarah Welch from Bonham Elementary. Did we get Miss Gamboa? No, okay. We have from Austin Elementary, Bailey McCarroll and Carrie McQueen, along with April Mercer. From Stafford Elementary, Anita Marquez and Katrina Quince. Katrina, you can go ahead and come up. From Thomas, and from Craig, Erica Calland. All right, you have a little more room. You have breathing space. So there you go. This number has gotten larger by about half. It's multiplied, I guess, 100%. So about 100% larger. Doubled. There we go.
Congratulations, ladies.
Yes, great job.
All right, everyone looking at me. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
They're super proud of you guys. Hi, April.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to lead the district in this way. It's been probably my most favorite thing to do in the 7 years I've been here is to work the last 4 years with this program. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Let's hear it one more time for all of these teachers.
While some of these people are making their way out, I would like Miss Caitlin Paonessa to make her way up. She'll be introducing our Employee Award recipients. She is our Assistant Director of Communications.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kuhn, members of the board. Today I have the privilege of introducing to you our second round of Employee Award recipients. As you may remember from our February meeting, this program recognizes AISD educators and staff who exemplify our strategic priorities. Those are available on the right side of your screen for reference. When we launched this program, our goal was to create more opportunities to celebrate the incredible work that's happening across this district. These award winners were thoughtfully nominated by their peers and selected by our district leaders. Last week, we had a great time visiting campuses and surprising each of these winners during our prize patrol. We were joined from our friends, by our friends from First Financial Bank, who generously sponsor this employee awards program, and they were each award winner was presented with a gift card from First Financial Bank. Our friends from First Financial mentioned, and I have to agree, that handing out these awards is one of the best parts of this job. Seeing their surprise, the excitement from their students, and the appreciation from their peers is truly a joy. So without further ado, I'd like to invite each of these deserving employees to the podium one at a time to be recognized. If you'll join me here, we'll take a group photo at the end. So our first Employee Award winner in our auxiliary category is Brahima Kulubali from Technology. In our Paraprofessional Award category, we have Mr. Gerald Shelby from our Woodson Center for Excellence. He was joined by his whole family at Prize Patrol. It was very sweet, and I hope you guys enjoyed the cake afterward. In our Student Support category, we have Miss Brooke Taylor, who is a Positive Behavior Supports Liaison at Stafford Elementary. And our substitute teacher was Miss Frida Jo Smith, who was at Purcell Elementary that day, subbing for her daughter's class, I believe. It was very sweet. And finally, in our new teacher category, Jordan Parker, who's a 6th grade ELA teacher at Craig Middle School. We got to celebrate Miss Parker in the cafeteria in front of all of the middle school students who did a great job making her feel celebrated. And our last category in teaching is Sarah Garza, who is an ESL teacher at Abilene High School. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to come up here. We'll take a group photo.
This is a great group. I'm glad you all could be here tonight.
All right, everyone looking at me. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Anyone else?
Thank you all so much.
Yes. There is an item D, but we're going to postpone that due to illness. Oh, next, I'm sorry. We're doing D, we're skipping E. Next is Dr. Joseph Waldom, Deputy Superintendent, with a Purchasing Award of Merit.
Thank you, Ms.
I just
President.
need to read the script.
While everybody is making their way, I could ask the purchasing department to come on up here and join me. Please line up right here beautifully like all these other recipients have. They don't want to do this, but I'm making them. Well, Lisa's making them. Thank you for the opportunity to stand in front of you and highlight one of the gems in our school district that serves every single day. The purchasing department is made up of these ladies, and also a group of guys who work in the warehouse. But often, these ladies are in that warehouse, helping them. The Award of Merit is a program through TASBO that's meant to highlight exceptional work in the purchasing world. It's been around for years, but this is our second year in a row to get it. We joined a group of other districts at a reception at the TASBO Engage Conference where I picked up this award that Renee's holding. The Award of Merit actually is a pretty robust process. It starts early in the fall with the gathering of documents such as policy and procedure manuals, organizational charts, educational levels of everybody who works in the department, their experience, certifications, trainings they've attended, how we do our bid process, how we open bids, how we advertise them, every cooperative we're a part of, the way we communicate with vendors. They want examples of that. Our P-card system, which is the credit card program we use throughout the district, how it works, the procedures, and the policies around that. They also asked for our policies and procedures in our warehouse and how they control inventory and distribute goods. All in all, the process produces, I'll just say, tons of documents. They're sent to TASBO and evaluated by 2 evaluators before they're passed along to the executive director of TASBO, who ultimately decides who gets the Purchasing Award of Merit. I'm so proud of this group. Lisa can't be here tonight. I would embarrass her. Hopefully she's listening and she knows that I would have embarrassed her if she were standing here. But I'm super proud of these ladies. Every time you go out there, they're a bright ray of sunshine. It doesn't matter what's going on. They'll take care of you. They take care of our people exceptionally well. And I'm glad to be a part of their group. So please join me in congratulating them for this accomplishment. Let's take a picture.
I just want to add one thing. It takes so much to equip all the people in the school district with all the resources that they need. And you guys do a wonderful job doing something very, very complex. And you guys are the right people for the job. Thank you so much for what you do for this district.
can't. There
Yeah.
we go.
Not unusual.
All right, everyone. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Hi, great job, good work.
I also want to say my first day on the job here, the very first place I visited, purchasing.
A good team to get to know, I'm sure. We will not be doing item E because of some illness, and we'll get back to them in the future. The next will be item 5, oral communication from the public. The board encourages comments about the district from members of the public. Anyone wishing to address the board must have completed a public comment card before the start of the public portion of tonight's meeting, indicating the agenda item or topic about which they wish to speak. Oral communication from the public is governed by AISD policy BED local. Under the Texas Open Meetings Act, the board is not permitted to discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on the agenda for the meeting. A speaker will be given up to 5 minutes to address the board. If, however, the total number of speakers seeking to address the board at a meeting exceeds 5 per speaker, time limit might be reduced. If in no event will a speaker be given less than 1 minute to address the board. Tonight we have one speaker, so we won't be adjusting that time period to speak. And Dr. Kuhn will monitor the time and make the speaker aware of when their time is up. Dr. Kuhn, will you want to give a little bit of an explanation of how you'll be monitoring the time?
Yes, I've got a timer up here with me, and there's a timer at the podium. It starts out at 5 minutes, and it's green, and as it counts down, as you get close to time, it will turn yellow, and when it gets to 0, it will turn red.
So you'll have a little monitoring at the podium. Mindy Morris is our speaker this evening. Welcome, Mindy.
Welcome, Dr. Kuhn, President Wiley, the rest of the board. It is my pleasure to be here this evening. I want to inform you of some things that happened a few weeks ago. Our department, the attendance department, was told that our staff is going to be reduced from 5 officers to 2, leaving an officer at Abilene High and 1 at Cooper. I'm just wondering why this decision was made. We, as a group, with just 3 of us, have over 70 years of experience doing this job. Myself, I'm at year 21. We were told we didn't make a difference. I would beg to differ. We were told we needed to prove our worth. We've graduated kids. We've picked up kids. When I first started this job, my Suburban, and I had a Suburban then, I would say nearly every day I had a student in my car to get them to school, to make sure that they got their education. Ours is the only department in the district, to my knowledge, that brings in money besides football. And they're reducing us to 2. What's going to happen to the elementary and the middle school campuses? Who's going to have time to do anything with attendance? Not to put Madison under the bus, but that's where my office is. My APs do not have time to do attendance because they're busy with discipline every day. I would hate to see the attendance suffer, and it will, because there's not enough people making enough phone calls, knocking on doors, and getting kids to school. Also, what's going to happen when a student gets sick? Who are they going to call to take them home? I would say it's more than 9 out of 10 times. Call Mindy. Call Will. Call David. Call Jorge. Call Annette. They'll take them home. Took one home this morning. Parent didn't have transportation. Student got suspended. Yes, we're going to take them home. But who has the time and the ability to take care of the kids? It just floors me. That this is what we've come to. And I understand stretching, and I understand budget, and I understand that we've got to make things lean. But in my opinion, we're stretching it too much. Do I want to do my job? Absolutely. Do I have days when I'm not making a difference? Probably so, because I'm human. And there are days that you don't make a difference because you're human. Proving our worth? Ask the kids. Ask the parents. I just keep thinking, lifesaver. You're a lifesaver. It's what one of my parents said to me on a text. I just hope the district reconsiders the attendance officers. Most of us, this is all we've done. Are we willing to do other things? Yes. Will it be very hard? Absolutely. I just want to make sure that our kids get an education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. We'll now move to item 6, consent agenda. The AISD Board of Trustee meetings are preceded by in-depth board workshops, which are held prior to regular meetings. The purpose of the workshop meeting of the board is to discuss items in preparation for potential consideration at future board meetings. Meeting times are posted on the AISD website at AbileneISD.org. The public is invited to attend. Does a board member wish to remove an item for discussion from the consent agenda? Do we have a motion regarding the items on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion by Rodney. Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Blair. We'll now take a roll call vote. Danny Wheat?
Yes.
Blair Schrader?
Yes.
Rodney Goodman?
Yes.
Taylor Tedmore?
Yes.
Bill Enriquez?
Yes.
Cindy Earls?
Yes.
Angie Wiley? The motion passes 7-0. At this time, we will move on to item 7, reports. Item A is a student nutrition report. Ms. Candace Greenwich, Director of Student Nutrition, is here to help us with to gain knowledge on our student nutrition. It's always a pleasure to have you, Candace.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come and speak to you. All of you know my favorite topic is student nutrition. And so I'm going to try to work this crazy thing and see if I can work it. Okay, great. Our student nutrition philosophy. We believe in providing healthy meals and nutrition education today and for a lifetime. We have 5 focus points: quality, service, cleanliness, safety, and employee retention. We support the educational process by providing nutritious meals, and we believe in nutrition education. We develop menus and concepts that are progressive and attractive to all our customers, including students and adults. We believe in service partnerships, and we provide partnerships throughout the state of Texas as well as our community. We are USDA compliant, and we are TDA compliant. One of the things that we really believe in is training in our department. I actually have a training supervisor that works with all of our staff, but in addition to the training that we provide on a monthly basis, we have Edwards Risk Management who comes in to train our staff 3 times a year on workplace safety, lifting precautions, avoiding burns, and general health. We also have sanitation systems and safety training that perform monthly health inspections at our kitchen and provides us continuing education for our staff on handling chemicals, sanitation, and workplace hazards. We also work with the Environmental Health Department, and they speak to our staff twice a year on health inspection expectations. We truly believe that through continued education, we create a healthy and safe environment for our staff. We also believe in having fun in our department, and so anyone who knows us knows we're fun. And so we actually participated in the National School Lunch Week, October 14th through the 18th, and it was School Lunch Find Your Treasure. And so we passed out elementary activity sheets. Some of our staff dressed like buccaneers. We had lunch fit for a captain's crew and a treasure trove of flavor with fresh strawberries. We also had the Pirates Pledge, which was eating more fruits and vegetables, and we spoke to students about the importance of nutrition in their daily life. We also celebrated the National School Breakfast Week, and so we kind of pondered what we should do with the theme, Who Stole the Fruit Loop Waffle? Well, luckily, we had on hand a Scooby-Doo, an Inspector Gadget, and the time machine. And so my staff dressed up, wrote a skit, and worked with the elementary students to decipher just exactly who stole the Fruit Loop waffle. In this case, as you can well see, it was Scooby-Doo. But from what I hear from the reports I got, the principal was involved as well. Nutrition Education Outlook. We have really, over the last 4 years, moved to want to bring nutrition to our students and to talk to them about trainings. So now we have a Tri-Day Friday in Produce of the Month. Our kids have sampled watermelon, celery sticks, kumquats, grapefruit, strawberries, and sweet potato fries. We also have a nutrition newsletter that goes out every month, and it is written not only for our students but for their parents. We believe in nutrition education in the classroom, and my new dietitian, one of the pictures you'll see is her over at Bonham, teaching healthy habits for the kids so that they can pick up healthy food. We also did a student taste testing committee, we took applications from a variety of students from different schools, and we brought vendors and their chefs in to prepare food for them. They all got an apron that said, "Powered by Healthy Meals," and we had it at the Sky Cafe. The kids loved it, and one of the things that they truly wanted of everything that we tried were pretzel bites. And so pretzel bites will be added to the menu next year. We're also working on marketing our product better, and so we will be adding quite a few new items next year. We'll be adding taco crisp, beef and cheese, chicken taco meat, sweet potato fries, strawberries, and for the first time we're going to bring lactose-free milk in for our special diet and more fresh fruits and vegetables. You know, when we began our CEP program 4 years ago, we really didn't know exactly how that would go. And it was truly just kind of a step in faith that we began it. And so the accountant
Can you tell everybody what the CEP program is? Some people in here may not be aware.
It's the Community Eligibility Provision, which feeds all students for free. And so we stepped out in faith, and as you can tell, the accountant in me had to look at a 4-year trend. And as you can tell, we're very consistent. All of these numbers are through March 31st of the year they pertain to. And in fact, this March, we're actually up in breakfast, which we're very excited about. You can tell we're around 1.2 million across on lunches. But the one thing that we have said as an example to other schools, I have a couple of directors, one from San Angelo, that want to come in and find out just exactly how we made this work. So we're excited that other people are jumping on as well. So our participation data year to date, March 31st, 1.2 million lunches, 612,000 breakfasts, $29,000 after-school care snacks, 406 adult breakfast, and 1,782 adult lunches. We also provide 46 special diets, 23 elementary, 15 at Long, 3 at the middle school, and 5 at high school. And our diets range anywhere from dairy intolerance to soy allergies, to vegetable allergies, and even to medically restrictive modified diets. And so we do a lot of work with our students. We're also bringing in lactose-free milk, which we will use in the pre-K long and other things so that our students can feel like the other students and get to sit with them and eat what they have. We actually feed children all but 2 weeks out of the year. One is spring break, and one is the last week in July when we're preparing for the next school year. Churches step in and take over our program for us so we can have off. And so last year we had 8 summer feeding sites. We had 1 middle school. We had 3 elementary, 2 high school, and the Children's Art Festival. We actually had 32 employees that made up the administrative staff out in the field, and the rest of the employees were office employees filling in to help with auditing and different items like that. Breakfast, we serve 15,000, and lunches 30,000. And keep in mind that that is only a 32-day program, so that is truly quite a few meals. And this year, with the rec centers closing, we will be partnering with the Mall of Abilene, as well as the zoo and all of the splash pads to open up where we can feed a lot of students. One of the things that our biggest expenses are labor and food costs. And so one of the things that helps us keep our food costs down are the DOD, which is the Department of Defense Fruit and Vegetable Program. The program allows schools to use USDA foods entitlement money to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables, and we received $130,000 from them for that this year. Our commodity dollars are based on participation, and we received $851,845. And what we use our commodity dollars for are the main entrees on the plate, because that's our most expensive item. And so that, you can see commodity pounds go into cheese, beef, chicken, pork, potatoes, pinto beans, refried beans, tomatoes, turkey, and eggs. Which we also we received the Sid Miller Supply Chain Grant, which had to be used on a minimally processed food item. The grant had to be used by March 31st, 2025, and we have expended all our funds. We received $130,000, and we applied that grant to milk as a single audit line item, so it'd be easier to audit. We purchased $549,871.56 of milk each year. So we drink a lot of milk. The 3 key levels of measurement that I use to really figure out where we're at financially are food cost, labor cost, and non-food cost. The other percentage that is not there goes toward like equipment repair, different things like that. But you can see our food cost really, even though it's up 2%, I'm very proud of that because we have been able to maintain a pretty good food cost. Our labor cost is up 9%, and so we are working to resolve that through attrition. And our non-food cost is up 0.5%, and that's because we use a heavier plastic tray for like the grab and go at the lift, the students that we satellite off to at McMurray. We also were doing that for Hartford for a while, as well as the juvenile detention center students. But anyway, we're going to be working to bring those down. We service with partnerships, and we're members of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, SHAC, the TASBO, American Commodity, School Nutrition Association, Alliance for Women and Children, the Hunger Coalition, and at the Legislative Action Conference in Washington, D.C., we lobbied for the CEP program. And so we also, one of the things that we were able to get involved with was TDA was looking for people to give them feedback on their procurement rules. Well, every training that we went to, it was very difficult to really understand because they didn't understand what the procurement rules were. So anyway, we have had the privilege of being able to work with them, and I feel like that when we come out with our summer training guidelines, or when they do, it's going to be something that you know 100% what you're supposed to be doing. So we're excited about being an opportunity for that. And so truly, the only hunger a child should feel is the hunger to learn. And so that truly is our heart, and our goal every day is to feed our children. And so that's it. Y'all have any questions?
Thank you so much, Candace. We so appreciate what you and your team do.
Thank you.
Next is item B, Curriculum and Instruction Report. Ms. Patty Blue, our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, is at the podium. Thanks, Patty, and thanks for being here.
I just wanted to take a little bit to kind of give you all just an update of all the different things that are going on right now. Most of the time when I'm up here, I feel like I'm bringing you numbers and data and all those sorts of things, and that's not really what this report is. It's more of just, here's the projects we're working on, things we're finishing for this year, things we're already in the midst of getting ready for next year. So, one of our big things going on right now is transitioning our new C&I staff as they have moments. They still have other jobs they're holding on to. So as they have moments to come over and help, they're being part of that. We're finalizing the LASSO grants. There's some steps after we were awarded that we had to go ahead and do to accept that. Jay Ashby's been over helping with that because that will be part of his new job to oversee those. Federal applications are happening right now, and Shannon Marshall has been coming over and helping and learning those things. As far as federal grants go, we're basically being told move forward as usual. We haven't heard anything different out of Washington, so that's what we're doing with those right now, is we're moving forward with those applications. We are also, now that Janae Weidman has been named principal at Bowie, we are working on transitioning her duties as assessment and accountability. Just as other departments and campuses, we also are evaluating open positions. And that was a position that I feel like that I can shift those duties to other people in the curriculum instruction department. So that'll be a position that we absorb. So Ross Thomas, Brandon Carr are picking up assessment, and then Lindsay Williamson and Carrie Thornburg will be helping a lot with the accountability pieces. Then we have the 24-25 grants, the Strong Foundation Planning Grant. That was where we looked at our reading language arts curriculum. We are also getting ready for the 25-26 Strong Foundation implementation piece. Administrator training dates are set, teacher summing dates are set. So that is going strong. We also have School Action Fund Planning Grant for MAN last year that we are winding down, and then we are getting in the process of kicking off the 25-26 continuation grant. And Chad is here to tell you a lot more about that later, so I'm going to move on and you'll hear more about MAN. We are in the midst of kicking off the 3 School Action Fund grants that we were awarded through LASSO. We have Bowie and Purcell that will both be STEM campuses. And then Ward is a partnership campus, and there will be a lot more information coming to you before too terribly long about what does that mean, what is that going to look like. But we are having lots of meetings right now. Part of what comes with those grants is technical assistance providers to help us through this process. So Jay Ashby, Carrie Thornburg, and myself have been having those meetings, getting to know our technical assistance providers and starting the first steps on those grants. Another big piece that this goes with the Ward School Action Fund grant is we needed to have people trained in the Texas Authorizer Leadership Academy, or TALA. And so Jay Ashby and I have started that process. There are 3 face-to-face in San Antonio, and that travel is grant funded. And then there are 3 virtual. We've had 1 face-to-face, 1 virtual, and then on, I believe, April 14th, 15th, we'll go to San Antonio for the second face-to-face. We are changing how we are providing on-campus instructional support. This is our instructional coordinators' positions. We are leaning into the circles that we are developing for our elementary campuses. One of the things is we're learning, our coaches need to be a little deeper in some of their knowledge level. Right now we have an instructional coordinator on an elementary campus, and they are expected to be the expert of everything. They have to be deeply knowledgeable about reading and math and science and social studies and GT and everything. So we're leaning in towards the circle where there will be 1 reading language arts coach for each circle, and that person will have the depth that we need them to have to really help coach our teachers through the new curriculum implementation. The student improvement specialist is kind of a new role for us. That role, what we're finding is our ICs are spending a lot of time in the office doing paperwork kind of things. They're setting in a lot of LPAC meetings. They're helping with ARDs. They're reorganizing like groups of kids. They're looking at data, which those are all things that need to happen. But the problem is when they're sitting in the office, the teachers are in the classrooms without support. So by creating this student improvement specialist position, we're creating a person that will take care of more of the office, paperworky, meeting kind of things, which frees up our reading, math, and science, social studies coaches to be in the classroom with teachers. So that's what the real focus is for those positions. We want them in the classrooms providing hands-on support to the teachers. We have actually finished all those interviews. Selections have been made, notifications have not yet. We're going to be doing that in the next few days. There's an elementary principals meeting scheduled for April the 16th, and we'll be working with the principals at that meeting about who's housed on what campuses, letting them to start work on schedules with each other so we can make sure that we can maximize these coaches across the entire circle and meet all the needs of the campuses. Summer Professional Development Catalog. We released it, did kind of a soft release on it last week, April 1st. That was so teachers could start seeing it. There were a few things we still needed to add coming from Region 14. So we actually will open tomorrow for registration for summer. We are using a different platform for that, hopefully a lot more user-friendly. And just a reminder that the calendar we adopted, there are 3 alternative staff development needs for all of our staff members. So this will be where most of them will find that information of what they need to take for their summer.
And just to clarify, that means if they take summer professional development opportunities, they can get those 3 days off during the school year.
And we are continuing to monitor student performance towards board goals. That's the literacy for 3rd grade, the math for 3rd grade, and the CCMR. We are continuing to monitor progress there. We've had benchmark assessments going on where we're looking at data, trying to help what we need to do to support campuses with what the data is showing. We are having monthly CCMR meetings. You know, that's a big piece of our accountability rating, watching that. We think that's going to make a huge difference, especially at our high schools, and then of course overall for the district. With Janae moving to Bowie, Lucille Fullen and Lindsay Williamson have taken that over and are doing a great job with that. And by the way, spring assessment season has started. Star Out 2, March 17th through April 11th. TELPAS is already done and over. And tomorrow morning is the kickoff for STAR. So if you know school-age kids that are taking the STAR test, encourage them to go to bed early, to eat good meals, all those good things, because it all starts in the morning. We've also been working with some of our purchasing department that you just had the chance to see how awesome they are, and we're finding out they are awesome too. Kim and Amy have been helping us to make sure that our 25-26 instructional materials are getting ordered now. We have a new reading language arts curriculum coming for elementary. We want to try everything we can to make sure those materials are here before school is out. Since we are grant recipients, we are being told we get priority, so we've already done what we need to do on our end to get those ordered. We have hit a little bit of a delay on the Spanish, and this is a TEA issue. They had not set some pricing and some different things, but Mandy Joyner is staying on top of that one and keeping me in the loop that if I need to get involved and push a little bit to make that happen. I know we had a little snafu last year that our Spanish materials did not get here in a timely manner, and I'm going to do everything in my power. I might have to be driving to Austin to go pick them up, but if that's what we have to do, we're going to make sure we get our Spanish materials here. Moonshot. This is the new staffing model that TEA approached us about piloting for them. So a group of us, Sherry Gum, Taylor Kohler, Carrie Thornburg, and myself, actually at the last board meeting, made a visit to Phoenix, Arizona, where this model is being implemented. It was pretty awesome to get to see it, guys. We were very excited about this. It's one of those things that's really hard to describe to you yet. We have a few slides and some things we're working on to try to give you a visual picture of it. We've talked about when you try to describe it, it sounds like normal departmentalization in elementary, but it's not. It is so much more. So if we can get some visuals tied down where I can help explain it to you a lot more, then in one of the next workshops or so, I'll bring those and help you see. Sherry and Taylor in particular are getting extremely excited realizing the power that this model has. It's really freed them up to think differently, to use people differently. They've already picked, they're going to do it at second grade. They've already got the teachers on staff. The teachers are already getting super excited. The teachers are starting to realize the power of what can come out of this. So we're actually kind of at the point of going, wait, we're doing one grade level right now. We're doing one campus, but we could foresee even as early as next Christmas, some power already coming out of this that we may want to explore this a little bit farther into the district. We still have TEA requirements to be met for results-driven accountability, or RDA. So we're taking care of that, making sure documents are submitted. Of course, summer school is just around the corner. High school and middle school will look pretty much like it has looked. The big thing for high school and middle school becomes a credit recovery. Elementary, you got information last Friday that we're going to approach elementary summer school a little bit differently. Just feeling like maybe we're not getting the best return on our investment with the way we're doing it right now. And so we want to try something different. We've talked to the principals about this, and they're on board with trying this differently too. They agreed that the traditional way we've been doing it really does not meet the needs that we have right now. So kind of that, why keep doing something if it's not working? Let's try something different. And then we are required to offer extended school year for SPED students and for ESL students. So we're also in the works of getting that going. We are going to be making some changes next year to the first grade report card. It's going to look more like a kindergarten report card that's skills-based instead of grade-based. It's more developmentally appropriate for what kids are learning at first grade. The other thing is we're hoping it communicates better with parents, that parents can truly understand the strengths and weaknesses of their child better than just, okay, my kid made a 95, that means they're doing fine, right? Well, on most things, yes, but there are some areas of concern, and this is going to help us communicate with parents about what are those areas that we need to continue to work with the kids. We're working for the Center for Innovation applications for next school year. Those are going out, so we'll start gathering that information. And then, as Kim Brumbley has already alluded to, with some retirements, the teacher incentive allotment is going to move from the Curriculum Instruction Department over to Human Resources. So we are working with them to make that transition happen. So, any kinds of questions? That was quick, fast rundown, different things we've got going on right now.
Well, backing up on the moonshot, who are we piloting that for? Who asked us to do that?
TEA asked us to do that. They came to us and said that they had one district, Northeast ISD, is piloting, that word? And they started it in the fall to get ready to do it next year. They approached us February, I guess. And said, hey, we've got room to do one more district. Would y'all like to be that district?
And it was one district, one campus you picked?
What they said one campus, one grade is what they were asking for us. And at that point, I think we were all game about, sure, let's try something new. Let's maximize. One of the things about Moonshot is really awesome is we are going to expand the influence of our really lead rock star teachers. They are going to be providing instruction to more and more kids. They are also going to be in a position that every day they're modeling and working with our young teachers. So those first year teachers or those student teachers are going to see rock star teachers daily. They're going to get to interact with them every day. And so hoping that this really solidifies for these young teachers, it keeps them in the profession, grows them quicker, grows them faster to where we have more and more rock stars all in our classrooms.
And did you say that was Taylor?
Bassetti.
Oh, Bassetti.
Taylor Kohler is where you heard Taylor. She works at Bassetti. She's helping us do this.
Bassetti.
Yeah.
Okay. I did have some questions, if that's okay. Because I was curious about the other award, the other grant we didn't get was a middle school to follow up with
At
what we're
Madison?
doing at Mayan. And so are we planning as a district on our own energy to go ahead and duplicate what we're doing at Mayan or go for another grant later?
Well, that's actually conversations that we were having today in cabinet, is just looking at that and making sure, does that still fit with our master plan of where we see the district going? But the plans are there, that if that's the decision that, yes, this is the direction that we need to go, then yes, our plans are just still to move forward that with the local level.
To see if the stakeholders at Madison want that, I guess, be step forward. So that leads me to a question about Purcell and Bowie, I guess. Have we already visited with their stakeholders to know what they want?
We have visited with the teachers. The big deal about that, if you'll remember on the School Action Fund grants, we didn't have much choice.
Okay.
The choices were either we add days to your school year, we make your school day longer, or STEM Academy.
Okay.
Those are the only three choices we
That's
had
a
when
good
it came to the
reminder.
grant.
That's a good refresher.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Whoops, I went the wrong way.
Ms. Blue, thank you so much. Your department does so many things, and we very much appreciate all the work.
Okay. Next is item C, building a collaborative culture. Dr. Joseph Waldron, our deputy superintendent, is returning to the podium. Thank you, Dr. Joseph Waldron.
Good evening. I'm glad to be standing back up here. I appreciate the time to give you a brief presentation that really correlates with what you just heard. But it's kind of adjacent to what Patty just shared with y'all. Collaboration's always existed in Abilene ISD. So is innovation if you go back through our history. But over the last 12 months, it's actually gotten quite larger. This idea of bringing everybody together in order to make decisions. It takes time, but it also minimizes headaches in the long run. Everybody gets a voice. So let me give you a brief overview of what I'm talking about. So this particular process, and my presentation tonight is going to focus on these 4 things. It's really 5 things. Enrollment and registration are actually 2 different things, but I put them as one. These are major collaborative conversations that have happened in our school district, kind of in the background, but is driving significant change. Significant change for the positive for our students and our community's experience. It all started with one major roadblock, and that was transportation. At the beginning of last school year, transportation didn't get off to its best start. It was a tough first week, and there have been lots of conversations around transportation, and really it was kind of like enough is enough. So we brought about 40 people together. That crew actually grew to more than 50 to talk about what's going on. To be honest with each other, we started by establishing that all voices are going to be heard. Every voice from our homeless liaison in ESL, special ed, high school principals, elementary principals, our technology folks, our transportation folks, our PEMS folks, it was a lot of people in one room. It was actually kind of hard to curtail them and have a productive conversation once they got going. It didn't start that way, but it got there. The group started taking chances, throwing out how they really felt. And in the end, we got to kind of a menu of things we were going to tackle. And what came out of that was several other groups that were on that list. The enrollment and registration, for example, the student ID conversation, for example. So here's some of the actions this group tangibly did. You could see it, you could feel it. I have notes about it. And it's something we should be very proud of. That's why I'm standing in front of you today, because it's truly a change in culture. The room challenged each other by asking, why does it have to be that way? One of the great examples of that is we have traditionally started our enrollment and registration process for pre-K pretty early in the spring, about now, next week. But the rest of the district was later on. And it ended up being a two-step process because we needed to collect this form that has a name, and I'm forgetting it right now, but it collects income information from families. And the income information isn't released by the government until July. So we've always said that that cannot be a part of enrollment and registration. It has to be a totally separate thing. And then our principals, going into the end of October, are literally getting information about who hasn't done it yet. Contact your people on your campus. Get your parents to fill that out, all the way until that last Friday in October when it was due. Because of this conversation and some people asking why, and some other people listening, we're actually changing that whole thing and making it a one-stop shop during enrollment and registration. It really is listening to the whole big picture with a bunch of people in a room, rethinking the way we've always done it, having some people step up and say, you know what, let me look into that. We have new systems that are being put in place right now in order to alleviate this experience for our community. So let's talk about student IDs. So right now, student IDs are all over the place in almost everybody's got one in some way, shape, or form. Kids need a tag for Holland. Kids need a tag for Abilene High. Kids need a tag to get on a shuttle to go to the lift. Kids need a tag in elementary school in order to ride a bus. Kids need a barcode in order to get a lunch in the cafeteria. Little kids might need a QR code in order to log into their computer because they're so little. Well, this group got together and said, can we put that all into one card? And actually, it's not as easy as it sounds, but this group is got a full head of steam and is ready to move forward with every kid from pre-K to 12th grade having an ID that not only tells you, I am a student in Abilene ISD, but it does multiple things for them. So, digest that for a second. Never done that before. But a bunch of people got in a room and said, we can do that, can't we? Why can't it? And some other people said, well, yes, it can. And now we're going to do it. We're actually going to use grant money, probably because an ID is truly part of safety and security. We're probably going to use grant funds in order to get it started. We had our technology department step up and say, for the first year, we'll help print, which is going to take hours for them to print all these for the secondary level. But it's kind of a one-time gift, but it's a pretty big deal. That's the kind of teamwork I'm talking about. The next one is enrollment and registration. So Dr. Zemer's probably listening online. Dr. V's not here tonight, but he's certainly part of this group. Jay Ashby's in the back. The reimagining of enrollment and registration started with a transportation conversation. But because everybody was in the room and we identified different problems impacting this one thing, we have a communications plan around enrollment and registration. Oh, I'm getting too excited. We have a communication plan around enrollment and registration. We have buy-in from our leaderships. It's wildly, I'm not doing it justice. One of the last things that I'll share with you is about partnerships. We have a group of people that includes athletics, elementary, secondary principals, purchasing, finance, technology, to talk about how do we accept generosity from our community. And we know how to accept money, like a donation, but how do we accept other stuff? Because people want to help. They truly want, I'll give you an example. People truly want to, put some sweat equity into making this look nicer, be better for our kids. We should be all on board for that happening. But there are things to consider in that partnership, and right now it's muddy. It's like you're in the Mississippi River. You can't see your hand in front of your face if you're underwater because you kind of don't know where to go. We want to make it like the Caribbean Sea, where everybody knows what's going on if Billy Enriquez wants to do something for the Abilene High band. So that group is literally breaking down walls and making a clear process so that people can support our programs and our people. So I can't tell you how excited I am about this. The process has literally built trust. It's closed the we're gonna do this or this is how we do it to this is like it's closed the talk and the action into a real narrow gap. It creates clarity and accountability because if you don't do it like tonight, I had a couple of the members of our CNI team remind me of one of the things that is kind of just hanging out there about summer school. I'm like, I'm help, I got it. So there's great stuff happening in this, and it's all about this one thing, to make sure that we equip our learners for their brightest future. So thank you for allowing me the time to do this. The last 10 months and the ramping up of this has been tremendous for me and for the people that have been involved. We're ready to keep going. This train's rolling downhill and it's not stopping. I'd gladly take any of your questions or comments.
I have noticed the difference, and it's what we've, as a board, have asked since our training of last year after our, whatever that training was, the Lone Star Governance, yes, has opened doors, made our walls thinner, and, you know, you guys are the ones that incorporate that. We just simply say, wonder what, or do y'all do this, or, and y'all are the ones that take the balls and run with it, and that is how it's supposed to be. We don't have anything to do with that as a board, but we are very proud of what we have asked Dr. Kuhn to do and what he's asked y'all to do as a result of that. And a lot has happened in 12 months, 13 months, and if we'd have had a camera going on our district in the last 12 months, it would be interesting to see all the things that have happened.
Yeah.
So thank you for staying a half a step or two ahead of us, always, and taking care of our questions as a board. That's what I would have to say to you as the one that got to bring that to us tonight.
A lot of people in this room are part of this. I'm
Yes.
just the spokesperson.
We realize that, but
Yeah.
we do know that you are a recognizable spokesperson and the one
Yeah, congratulations.
to bring that.
So thank you for your hard work, and there's so many layers to this. Being a relatively new school board member, there were certain things that I learned pretty early on just about collaboration and where if people want to help, there's not really a clear-cut way on how to do it and what's the process and all those various things. And so to me, this is encouraging just because it's streamlining, making things more efficient. But at the same point in time, it also telegraphs that as our district has to lean in and do a lot of hard things, whether it be budget-related or process-related, or onboarding new technologies or leveraging grants, all the different things that we have ahead of us. This is a great example of collaboration and building trust with your teammates to be able to leverage that down the road when we have to keep doing more with less. And so to me, this is a step in the right direction from an administrative standpoint, but I think it also communicates back to our customers, the students and the parents, that we all are at the table working together to find things that actually are more customer friendly. So kudos to you and the team, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Waldron. Thank you, team.
Great. Always a good note to hear. We're going to move on to business on item 8 that requires board action. Item 8A, Month of the Military Child. Ms. Allison Camp, Executive Director of Student Services, is making her way to the podium. Thank you, Allison.
Good evening. All right, I would like for our guests to join us, and Darcy, if you would come on up as well. All right. It's kind of hard to top that exciting news, but I'm going to try because I think this might. All right. Every April, the United States Department of Defense celebrates military-connected children and their families during Month of the Military Child. According to the DoD, there are more than 2 million Americans serving our country in the armed services, and those families include more than 1.6 million children. The state of Texas is home to more than 170,000 active duty and reserve service members and over 149,000 military-connected children, many of whom live in Abilene and attend AISD schools as part of our Dyess Air Force Base community. With these facts and the month of the military child in mind, before you this evening is an opportunity to approve a resolution declaring our public support for AISD's military families and their children. This resolution makes explicit our district's commitment to meeting the unique needs of our military children through household moves, parent deployments, school changes, and reintegration challenges. It also offers our gratitude for all military personnel, veterans, and their families, and states that we are dedicated to make every effort to connect our military families with resources they need to succeed in Abilene and AISD schools. So at this time, we're actually going to take a picture, and then we ask that you consider approving the Month of the Military Child Proclamation for April 2025. So we're glad y'all are here. If y'all come on up for a picture.
And thank you for patiently waiting for this time.
I made the comment that they are being so well behaved because they had to wait.
All right. Good jog. All right, can everyone see me? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thanks.
Let's have a big round of applause for
Yes, thank y'all.
Thank you all so much for coming tonight, and it is our pleasure to consider this proclamation.
Okay. I guess there's not a way to put it up. Probably not. To put the proclamation up, there's not. Well, just never mind. That will be posted on our website. I will ask that we can get that posted on our website, the proclamation. Is there a motion regarding the Month of the Military Child Proclamation?
I move to approve the month of military child proclamation as presented.
We have a motion by Blair. Second by Cindy. We'll now take a roll call vote. Rodney Goodman,
Yes.
Angie Wiley, yes. Taylor Tidmore,
Yes.
Bill Enriquez,
Yes.
Cindy Earls,
Yes.
Blair Schrader,
Yes.
Danny Wheat. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you guys are ready to scramble, we understand that. Thank you for taking your time out tonight, being here to support the board as they make this decision. We appreciate you. Thank you for your service as well.
Thank you for choosing AISD and supporting us. We'll now move to item B, renaming Mann Middle School. I'll call Mr. Chad Drake, you'll probably take it, principal of Mann Middle School.
Not Dr. Drake, even though students call me that because of Dr. Dre, if you know who Dr. Dre is. Well, good evening. Thank you guys for hanging in on, I don't know if this is a long night or a normal length night. I'm going to try to keep my remarks brief, but in talking to Dr. Kuhn about the proposal for a name change, it seemed like a great opportunity to just give you guys an overview of the work that's been accomplished so far and the work ahead. And I am going to keep it brief, so know that it really is just kind of a summary of where we are. And that's what I just said. So I'm going to provide the year in review, the vision for next year, and then recommend a name change to Mann STEAM Academy. And it starts us all the way back. One of the first formal things that we did was host a Mann Community Summit. I heard Mrs. Wiley talking about our stakeholders and ultimately what they're looking for, both families and students and community members. And so we had an awesome Mann Community Summit back on August 29th. We had a student panel that did a great job just representing our campus and their experiences and their hopes for the future. And then obviously we had several families that were basically asked that question, what are your highest hopes? And I tried to capture the themes from the parents are really the top four: critical thinking. They want their kids to be able to solve hard problems. They want them to have communication skills. And they want them to leave even middle school with some real world skills. And the last one really represents what students talked about the most, not surprisingly, that they ultimately, when given the chance to talk about their experience at school, talked about their favorite teachers. And most of them, it talked about the connection that those teachers made with kiddos. So that was really our starting point when it came to imagining and thinking about redesigning our campus with a STEM focus. Thank you. So then we had STEAM redesign days, and so there was a STEM, and you're going to hear me switch back and forth, and it's just what happens when you say STEM and STEAM, okay? But our STEM redesign team was a group of teachers, of several people from the leadership team of AISD. Mr. Enriquez joined us to represent the school board. Did a great job. He's on my team. We did not plan that. And then several parents and also representatives from ACU, Hardin-Simmons, and McMurray related to STEM fields. And so really the goal of that was to, again, lay a foundation for the decision making that needed to be, that we're entering into still to this right now. So what came out of those 3 days, I wanted to put in frame. I'm not going to read everything. I'm not going to read through the call to action, our beliefs, vision statement, learner profile. But ultimately that team was tasked with designing kind of the playbook for the work ahead and the decisions that we needed to make, and ultimately the learning experiences that we want to offer our students. And so I offered that as an example. And again, it looks like, well, there's 2 pages of work, but that's 3 days of really important conversations and challenging questions. And our student panel actually was invited to participate a little bit on those days too. So that's kind of our guiding work for teachers and for me. Also, my team over the last couple of months has worked to establish what we call the ideal man STEAM teacher, and we've used this. We've had a formal conversation with our entire staff to ask them to reflect on these qualities, and then ultimately really think through the coming year and the years ahead. Is this something you're committed to learning how to, number one, if you're checking most of those boxes, great, we want you back. And then ultimately ask teachers to reflect on, hey, these are things that I know I'm hoping to improve on, or I'm willing to improve on, or I'm not sure that a STEAM direction, the STEM education field is the direction I want to go, and that's okay too. So we've had some of those conversations with our staff, and we'll continue to use that, especially as we support our teachers in, again, designing new experiences for students. Okay? My team and Karen Munoz and others we had a great experience going and visit some campuses around. We saw Evans Middle School. The focus there was about our new RLA curriculum. I think y'all have heard about that. But one of the requirements of a STEM redesign is to have a high quality instructional material in math and reading. And so we were fortunate to go to Evans Middle School in Lubbock and spend a day observing classrooms that they were in their 3rd or 4th year of that curriculum and had great things, and are excited about that coming to man. I put McCool Academy on there not because we visited McCool, but I have connected with, I'm from Lubbock, lived and taught in Lubbock, and so the principal at McCool has gone through in the last 4 years of STEM redesign, and so she and I actually were the first ones to start talking about project-based learning, which we ultimately got to saw at Judson ISD and at Kirby STEM Academy. Got to see some really exciting STEM electives, one of which that we're going to bring to man, and then a lot of their project-based learning that we're also going to do. I can't remember if I say it directly, but when it comes to what those visits helped was really just set a direction for like what do we want to look different and feel different at man next year. And so you're going to hear us talking about in the coming weeks and months PBL Works. It's called Project-Based Learning Works. It's a organization that there's a cool connection that teachers at Adams have already been trained in. And so a few of their teachers did a little overview about a month ago with our staff, and it's something that our teachers are going to get trained on this summer. They're going to do most of my staff, our math, science, and social studies teachers are going to get the full training for project-based learning to implement that starting next year. The RLA teachers are exempt from that because they are implementing this brand new curriculum next year. So you've heard the term heavy lift. It's going to be a heavy lift for our RLA teachers to do that well. And so, but we're confident because every student will still experience, a STEM education with project-based learning with reading, science, math, science, and social studies. Also, our art teachers and our theater teachers, as well as most of our elective teachers, are going to go through the PBL training. We're also offering a new elective next year for sixth graders called PLTW, Project Lead the Way. And that's one that we saw at K-STEM Academy. They're actually, almost their entire campus is a PLTW school, but we're really excited about that. Students in sixth grade are going to take a course called Flight in Space. It's a semester-long course paired with art, so they'll have Flight in Space for a semester and then art the second semester. Already identified the teacher for that. It's a really robust curriculum. It's got really cool materials. The teacher goes to 40 hours of training this summer just to teach the semester course called Flight in Space. And so that is a course that we will grow every year in the next 3 years, we want to have a STEM-specific elective in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. But it takes a while to recruit and ultimately train the teachers that are going to teach that. Okay, so that's project-based learning and our STEM elective that's coming, and then obviously our high-quality instructional material. We already have one for math. We're in our 3rd year of Carnegie, which I'm sure you've heard of, and that will continue. Okay, I wanted to give a shout-out to Jay Ashby. He didn't want me to give him credit, but he sent me an email a couple days ago because he's had a few conversations. He and I have been talking a lot about, it was important to me that when we start to actually think about the name of our campus and the direction we wanted to articulate where we're going, for it to be a STEAM campus with the intentional inclusion of art. And so he said, yeah, I got asked that question, and this is my more thoughtful response after kind of having to answer on his feet. So I want to read this if you don't mind. Because Jay said, and I agree, the shift to STEAM isn't just about adding art. It's about helping kids become the kind of problem solvers who can think critically and creatively. That blend of logic and imagination leads to deeper learning and stronger engagement across all of our subjects, which is very well said. And what I would add to that is just that a huge part of a STEM education, a STEAM education, is the importance of cross-curricular connections. And there's so many opportunities in an art classroom to connect to science, math, social studies, RLA, et cetera. And just it works out that man has just an outstanding fine arts department, an awesome history of excellence, especially in our art instruction. So those teachers are very excited about the changes that are coming and their potential involvement in what they're going to offer students. So that is why STEAM, not STEM. Last, I just wanted to show you, I'm excited to give credit to some Adams graphic design students. Their teacher's name is Martha Tammany. I hope I said her last name correct. And this is our kind of first run at some potential namings and just how the logo is going to look. But all of them, obviously, they're Man STEAM Academy and just playing around with different ideas. We're down to pretty much those 3 and are quickly going to put those in front of staff and students and see what they ultimately recommend, assuming that we get approval to go with the name change. Okay. I think I'm down to questions.
So you need a vote tonight on the name change, correct?
I believe I do.
Okay.
I think I misunderstood.
Yes, ma'am.
Lindsay, I didn't think Amplify was a high quality instructional material, but apparently it is.
It is.
Okay. Okay.
Let
Well,
me clarify just a little bit. It is not named that. It hasn't gone through TEA's process to have that label, but there is a rubric because there's not a high quality instructional material for grades 6 through 8. But they have given us a rubric because the grant requires an HQEM, and since one doesn't exist, they gave us a rubric that we have to match up a curriculum to that rubric and say if it meets the rubric, then it is HQIM. So that's the process.
So we got a little bit ahead of TEA.
We got a lot ahead of TA. We're about, TA's, I think the last I heard, 5 years out from naming an HQIM for grade 6 or 8.
Okay.
Reading language
I will
arts.
take it in that regard.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of the only place I was stumped.
Cool.
It was great. Thanks. Oh, I did like the back down here on that page where you had that 2-page result of all of your hard work.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm playing around with
the learner
stuff.
profile. I
Yeah,
like that, the
thank you.
learner profile.
Yeah. Thanks. Sorry.
There.
Again, lots of conversations really ahead, and lots of hard work went into that really becoming our guide for really all of our instructional decisions moving forward and how we support teachers to change. Any other questions?
Great work has gone into this. One of the first things I got involved in when I got here was the whole world of SGS, which was all new to me. And I got to know you pretty quickly after that in the meetings and the Zooms and everything else we've done. And I just have to say, I've been extremely impressed with your professionalism, your leadership through this process. Takes a special campus leader to take something like this by the horns and wrestle it down. And I was there at the meeting where you guys came up with the learning framework. And it's just been a pleasure for me to watch, real leadership in action at a campus level and doing something really bold and new. And it is a heavy lift, and you've been game the whole time. So kudos to you.
Thanks. Learning is hard, right? We ask our kids to do it all the time, and I'm learning a lot. It's tiring, and it's great work. I did want to say, just because I have the opportunity, I don't know how often I get to speak publicly or whatever, but I just wanted to make sure I thank Karen Munoz, because she has been, she's retiring, and she's been such a good support for me. And I'd really never worked with her very closely before we started this process, and so excited, obviously, to partner with Jay moving forward, but wanted to make sure
She did a great job.
She's doing a great job. I
Appreciate that.
All right, y'all.
I'd like to say
Thank
one
you.
thing. Over here, Chad. I think sometimes it gets lost that our district offers a lot of unique opportunities that some other districts in our area don't offer, whether it's the Lift or Holland or the Center of Innovation. And so I think this is just another addition, to innovative opportunities that we're offering to the students in our district that are very unique. And so I appreciate your work. I know you put a lot of time and energy and passion into this, and so I really appreciate that. I'm excited to see what happens with Man over the next few years.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I'm excited about year one, but I'm really excited about year 3, 4, 5. Y'all know, because the first year we're going to look a lot different as we learn. So I appreciate you saying that.
Great.
Okay, thank y'all.
Awesome. Thank you. We're on our way to make it happen. We'll now move to item B. No, we did that.
Move to approve the renaming of Man Middle School to a Man STEAM Academy
That's what I was gonna
as
say.
presented.
Second.
We already have a motion and a second, so we're gonna take a roll call vote. Bill Enriquez,
Yes.
Taylor Tedmore,
Yes.
Cindy Earls. Yes. Rodney Goodman,
Yes.
Angie Wiley, yes. Danny Wheat. Yes. Blair Schrader.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Well, now we're going to move on to item C. Thanks, Dr. D. Selection of an auditor. This is Ms. Jennifer Hines, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Coming to talk about auditor selection, I'll keep it pretty quick, but I want to first go over how auditors are selected. So based on the education code around contract services, they're selected based on qualifications. So you request the qualifications, there's a review process, and then you basically select who you would like to work with. That's really the first step, and then once that selection is made, then you get into like negotiations with pricing and things like that. So first wanted to just kind of cover the basics on the selection process. And then want to talk just a second about who the recommendation is going to be for Eide Bailey. They've been the auditor for the past 10 plus years. I actually tried to look and find the exact number and was not very successful, but they've been with the district for a while. It is a local branch here in town with local staff that completes our audit field work. Key leadership staff is Jeremy Stevens. You may remember him. He delivered our audit report back in January. He's the partner in charge. And then Jen Lightfoot, Joey Elmore, and KB Woods both come out on field work, and we've worked very closely with them in our audit. I mentioned, just as a bullet, they had a firm peer review. A peer review for an audit firm is basically someone comes in and audits them. So they're required to do that every 3 years. So they did. They had that in 2024 and supplied that documentation. And then they do several districts our size. Coming from a background of being an auditor myself, I did that 12 years in my career before coming to the district. So it's really important to find a really good partner in an audit firm, and we have found that in Eide Bailey. It's nice to have someone that you can call with questions during the year, and not only that, but feel like you really have a partnership of, you know, trying your best to make sure the financial statements are stated accurately, you know, at the end of the year, and really doing that work as a partner with them. Any questions on the selection process or on Eide Bailey? Okay. All right, so it's pretty short and sweet. The recommendation is to select Eide Bailey to perform the audit for Abilene ISD, and then to delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute a contract. So this is basically selecting them as our auditor. The next step will be to negotiate pricing and terms.
I will gladly move to select Eide Bailey LLP to perform the audit in an Abilene Independent School District and delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute a contract. Do we have a second? Second. Danny, thank you. We'll now take a roll call vote. Blair Schrader?
Yes.
Danny Wheat? Yes. Angie Wiley? Yes. Cindy Earls?
Yes.
Rodney Goodman?
Yes.
Bill Enriquez?
Yes.
Taylor Tidmore?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned and the time is 7:43.
Thank you so much for your attendance. Thank you, board.